All right, guys, so this is the yellow packet. Tell me if I'm not on a problem you have or something, okay? But I think it's right. So the stats kind of questions that are on the SAT are a lot of interpretation and a lot of reading, honestly. So I don't have a definite, you should always do this first kind of a thing, but my thought when I see this big thing is maybe to glance through these, okay? Just to see the difference a little bit. But then it says, a market researcher selected 200 people at random from a group of people who indicated they liked a certain book, okay? So we already know they liked a certain book. The 200 people were shown a movie based on the book and then asked whether they liked or disliked the movie. Of those surveyed, 95% said they disliked the movie. Okay. Which of the following inferences can be appropriately drawn from this survey result? At least 95% of people who go see the movie will dislike it. At least 95% of people who read books will dislike it. Most people who dislike this book will see the movie. Most people who like this book will dislike the movie. Okay? It's really just about interpreting that they have a very specific population, right? They only asked people who had read the book, who liked the book, yes. So this is the only conclusion we can draw, because it's the only one that talks about who like this book will something, okay? Does that seem okay to everybody? Is that the one you would have picked? All right. Survey was given to residents of all 50 states, asking if they had earned a bachelor's or higher. The results from 7 of the states are given in the table above. The median percent of residents who earned a bachelor's degree or higher was 26.95. What is the difference between the median percent of residents who earned a bachelor's degree or higher for these 7 states and the median for all 50 states? What does the median mean? Median is the middle, okay? So we need to find which of these are in the middle, which is the middle one. Now, they're not in order, right? They're kind of close in order. No, they're not. Okay, so there's 7 of them. So which's going to be the middle number? The 4th one in order? Because there'd be 3, 3, and then the middle one, right? So we need to find the 4th highest or the 4th lowest. So there's the lowest, then this one, then this one. So this seems like the middle one to me, okay? And they want to know the difference between this and this, I think. What is the difference? So between 26.95 and what was the other one, 27.9? I can't subtract in my head. 27.9, and that one's almost 27. Is it B?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, no, we okay? All right. This is a gridded response question. Looks like I have a link here. Let's see what this link shows. It just says grid-ins, although most of the questions on the math test are multiple choice, 22% are student-produced response questions, also known as grid-ins. It says mark no more than 1 bubble in a column. Only answers, we didn't talk about this yesterday, but only answers that are actually bubbled will be scored. So if you write across, there's boxes across the top and then you bubble below. If you write your answer across the top and you don't bubble, they don't count it. So you got to make sure you do the bubbling. It doesn't matter which column you begin entering your answer. I talked about that yesterday, right? You can put it, start far left, far right, doesn't matter. The grid will only hold 4 decimal places and will only accommodate positive numbers and 0. Unless a problem indicates otherwise, they can be entered on the grid as a decimal or fraction. Decimal fractions like 3/24 don't need to be reduced. All mixed numbers need to be changed to improper fractions or decimals. If the answer is a repeating decimal, you must grid the most accurate value will accommodate. Oh, that's news to me. So if it was 2/3 and you put it in as a decimal, you would have to put 0.667. Or 0.666. See, that's not, okay. That's what I thought it was. You could do either one. Apparently 0.66 is not enough, though. You need to use all the places if it's a repeating decimal. Okay? Does that seem a little helpful? A little overview there? Answer any questions? Yesterday, I think I told this class that you could have a highlighter. You can't. The only thing you can have is a number 2 pencil. Okay? I'm sorry. I asked, could you have a colored pencil and no one would know that you're using that? But obviously, if you're going to write in your test booklet, I suppose they would know if they looked. So just a number 2 pencil, just use it to underline and, whatever way you can highlight with it. All right, back to this section. The same 20 contestants on each of 3 days answered 5 questions in order to win a prize. Each contestant received 1 point for each correct answer. The number of contestants receiving a given score on each day is shown in the table above. What is the mean score of the contestants on day 1? So day 1, we have 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3 for a total of 20. So 20 divided by how many contestants? How many contestants are there? Same 20 contestants. So is it just a total of 20? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this, oh, it's just, this is the total, right? This is not, okay. The total is 20 contestants, but what is the mean score? So 5 of them got 2 of them got 5 out of 5. 3 of them got 4 out of 5. 4 of them got 3 out of 5. 6 of them got 2 out of 5. 2 of them got 1 out of 5, and 3 of them got 0. So that's a lot of numbers to average. You want to know the shortcut on the calculator? You can actually use a frequency table. I don't know if this is efficient use of our time or not, but if you went stat enter, you could put in their scores, which were 5. Okay, wait a minute. You would want, there was 2 people? Okay, so read me the people. 2. And delete. Okay, and then the score that those people received. So 2 people received a 5 out of 5, right? And then is it a 4 out of 5, 3, 2, 1, 0? Okay, so then you would go to stat and you would pick one variable stats, but here you would say my numbers are in list 1, but the frequency is in list 2. I did that backwards. The score they received, we put in list 2, right? And the number of people who received it. Yeah, you could just say list 2. The frequency that they happened is list 1. I feel like most of you would not do this. Oh, so I got a mean of 2.4. Is that the choices? Is that a choice? It's not a choice. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, what else you could have done was say 2 people got a 5 plus 3 people got a 4 plus 6 people got a 2. I missed something. 4 people got a 3, right? And then 2 people got a 1, and 3 people got a 0. And then you divide that answer by 20. Ugh, so 2.4. It's a doable question in a minute and 15 seconds or something. That's about all I can say for it. It's not easy. This question is referring to the same table, which they like to do. No contestants receive the same score on 2 different days. If a contestant is selected at random, what is the probability that the selected contestant received a score of 5 on day 2 or 3, given that the contestants received a score of 5 on one of the 3 days? Okay. So, given that that they received a 5, so how many people received a 5 altogether? 7? 5 out of 5? Gotta read this again. If a contestant selected was probably the selected contestant received a 5 on day 2 or 3, given that they received a 5 somewhere in there. So 2 or 3, I'm thinking it's 5 out of 7 because it's either of those days. And this business just meant that they weren't repeated. The top sentence there about received the same score on 2 different days. Yeah. Wordy, 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 always. Okay, we're back to the calculator section. 607 general surgeons and orthopedic surgeons indicated their major professional activity. The results are summarized in the table above. If one of the surgeons is selected at random, which of the following is closest to the probability the selected surgeon is an orthopedic surgeon whose indicated professional activity is research? Orthopedic surgeon research was 74, and it doesn't say given anything, right? One of the surgeons is selected at random, so out of 607, and then hopefully that's one of those. Somebody, is that right? Is it? I'm guessing it's A or B. A? Nobody divided that? It's B? It's A, okay. A polling agency recently surveyed, 1,000 adults who were selected at random from a large city and asked, are you satisfied with the quality of the air in the city? Okay. Polling agency surveyed 1,000, okay. So it doesn't say how they found these people. Of those surveys, 78% responded that they are satisfied with the quality of air in the city. Based on the results of the survey, which of the following statements must be true? Must be true, okay. 1,000 adults were surveyed at random, and 78% said they were satisfied. Of all adults in the city, 78% are satisfied. If another 1,000 adults were selected at random from the city, 78% of them would report to be satisfied. If 1,000 adults were selected at random from a different city, 78%, okay, definitely not the same from a different city, right? Which of the following must be true? None would be my guess. Yeah. Because of that must be true. Yes, yeah, for sure. Let me just show you that. What are we doing today? SAT Prep Tuesday. The key is in here, and someone can tell me what question we're on. Is this none? Is this one? Okay. So it is in there if you want to check my answers, because we all know. All right, Mr. Camp's 8th grade class consisting of 26 students was surveyed, and 34.6% of the students reported that they had at least 2 siblings. Average 8th grade class size is 26. If the students in Mr. Camp's class are representative of the students in the 8th grade classes, and there are 1,800 8th grade classes in the state, which of the following best estimates the number of students in the state who have fewer than 2 siblings? Okay. So 34.6% of the students reported they had at least 2 siblings, but we want to know who have fewer than 2 siblings. At least 2 would mean 2 or more, fewer than 2. So, I hope so. Yeah. What is this, guys? Because this is asking about the opposite, fewer than 2. So that would be what, 65.4? Okay, so we're looking for 65.4% of 1,800 classes of 26 each. What? Then times 0.654, yep. 65.4 of 1,800 classes, each of which has roughly 26 students. I got 30, this C one. If you did 0.346 times 1,800 times 26, you would get the 16,200 number, okay? So you just had to read super careful here, because this was 34%, had they had at least 2, had 2 or more, and we wanted who had fewer than 2. All right. Careful reading. The mean score of 8 players in a basketball game was 14.5 points. So do we know the total? Can we figure out the total, guys, if we know the average? Yeah. 14.5 points is the average of 8 players, so the total must have been, I guess I should read the question, see if we need this, but I'm pretty sure we do. 116 points. Okay, if the highest scoring individual is removed, the mean of the remaining 7 players becomes 12. What was the highest score? Okay, so if we go to 12 times 7, that's what, 84 points? So this is the new total. So can we tell how much that guy had? The one we took out had to be how much? What's the difference between those? 32 maybe? Would you have figured that out? It's just important that you remember how you find an average, right? An average means you took these 8 players' scores, added them all up, divided by 8, and got 14.5. So if you multiply by 8, you'll get back to that total, okay? All right. A researcher conducted a survey to determine whether people in a certain large town prefer watching sports to attending sporting events. The researcher asked 117 people who visited a local restaurant on a Saturday, and 7 people refused to respond. Which of the following factors makes it least likely that a reliable conclusion can be drawn about the sports watching preferences of all people in the town? I don't know about how big the town is, so it could be that 117 was a decent sized sample. the population, I don't know the population of the town, the number of people who refuse to respond, I don't think that makes, where it was given seems like that would jack up the results, don't you think? Which of the following factors makes it least likely a reliable conclusion can be drawn about sports watching preferences? Okay, it says, in a large town, prefer watching sports on television to attending. Yeah, I would just say where the survey was given. We should look at and make sure that's the right answer. I don't know where this is on the, it's this one? Okay. All right. Results of the bar exam, blah, blah, blah. The table below summarizes the exams of 200 students. If one of the surveyed graduates who passed the bar exam is chosen at random for an interview, what is the probability the person did not take the review course? So, if one of the survey graduates who passed the bar exam, so we're talking how many? Who passed the bar exam? That's your given. How many of them passed? 25 total, right? Everybody good? 25 total passed. What is the probability the person chosen did not take the review course? Did not take would be 7 out of 25. Everybody good? There's your given. Okay. Survey was taken of value of homes in a county, and it was found that the mean average was 665,000, and the median or the exact middle was 125,000. Which of the following situations could explain the difference? Nope. Does anybody know what this is 50% of the homes are below this and 50% above, okay? So to drag the average way up to 165,000, there had to be what? There has to be some homes that are way out of line. So a single $1 million home would change the average by a lot. Okay, but it's one home, so the average is still, the 50 percentile is still here. Outliers are what drags the mean away from the median, or extreme values, not necessarily outliers. A sociologist chose 300 students at random from each of 2 schools and asked each student how many siblings they have. There are 2,400 students at this school and 3,300 at this. What is the median number of siblings for all students surveyed? Median is the middle. Median number of siblings. Yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the median would be 2, I guess. Because it's just number of siblings. So out of these, the middle one that they could answer was 2. Based on the data, which of the following most accurately compares the expected total number of students with 4 siblings at the 2 schools? The total number of siblings with 4 should be equal at the 2 schools. Yep. Yeah, I'm thinking. Okay, so this was 260, this was 190, this was 90, this was 40, and this was 20. So the median or the middle given answer was still 2, I think. Don't agree? You did a frequency? Oh, you did like a frequency thing? Yeah. Page down. Yep, I have it's 1. Oh, okay, this is my note to myself over here. How many total how many total students were surveyed? Because we have to list, we'd have to list all of the answers. So, and find the middle answer. So if there's 300 students from each of the 2 schools, so 600 students altogether, it would be between the 300th and 301st student. So 600 students total. Shh. Sorry, I did a bad job. 600 total. So the first 300 would be here and the second 300 would be here. Well, 260 of them said 0, right? And then the next 190 of them said this. Well, 260 plus 190 is well past 300. So the 300th student said 1 and the 301st student said 1. Ugh. Yes, she's right. I'm wrong. I wrote a note on my answer key about how I figured it out, and then all right, back to the next one. It said, so four siblings. Do you see how these are the same? 10 students had 4 at Lincoln and 10 students had 4 siblings at Washington. But look at these totals. This was 10 out of 2,400, and this was 10 out of 3,300. Do you see what I'm saying right there? So when we go to this question, based on the survey, which of the following most accurately compares the expected number of total students with 4 siblings at the 2 schools? So for our survey, they were equal, but when you actually found the totals, Washington would probably have more, yes? No. No. Because this is a... Oh, yes, this is a higher percentage. So, but this has more students. Oh, yeah, yes, let's do that. So 10 out of 300 surveyed would be how many out of 2,400? And 10 out of 300 surveyed would be how many out of 3,300? Thank you. My brain was 3,300. So this is, I'm guessing, 110. Did I do that right? And this is 80 maybe? That's mental math, probably wrong. Yes, this is a better way of looking at this. We were on the right track, I think. It's so because the sample sizes were both 300, the bigger school would have more. Okay, so back to the question. The total number of students is expected to be 30 more. Yeah, if I'd read the question, the answers choices here, we had to find the total number. 30 more, 80 and 110 is a difference of 30 at Washington. Is that 30 more at Washington? Phew. I think I should re-record this video later when I can sound like I know what I'm talking about. Everybody okay? Could you have at least eliminated some choices? How's that? Oh, Washington is 30 more. Did I pick the wrong one? Okay. Yes, again. Da, 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 da. Okay. But I'm thinking that we could have at least eliminated some of these choices without actually doing the question. All right. The survey above shows 1,200 responses to a survey question. Based on the table, how many of those surveyed got most of their medical information from a doctor or the internet? So doctor or internet is a total of 76% of 1,200 surveyed. So multiply 0.76 times 1,200, 768. Yep, I don't know. One of the top ones, maybe? It's C. Oh, thanks. That's why you use a calculator. Definitely don't use Hofbauer's brain. All right. Look at this one and see if you can figure it out. What's the important thing there? They only surveyed people where? Or who? Who own dogs. They only surveyed dog owners, right? So D is the best choice, yep. Does everybody seem okay with that? You would have picked that one without too much trouble? All right, a study was done of weights of different types of fish in a pond. A random sample of fish were caught and marked to make sure you didn't catch the same fish more than once. The sample contained 150 largemouth bass. 30% weighed more than 2 pounds. Which of the following conclusions is best supported by this data? Majority of all fish weigh less than 2 pounds. The average weight of all fish in the pond is approximately 2 pounds. Approximately 30% of all fish in the pond, approximately 30% of all largemouth bass in the pond weigh more than 2 pounds. D, is everybody okay with that? You can't make a conclusion about all fish of any kind as long as you only caught largemouth bass or kept and weighed. It what? All right, what are we supposed to do? There are 21 states with more than 10 electoral votes as shown in the table above. Based on the table, what was the median number of electoral votes for these 21 states? Okay, if there's 21 numbers, how do you find the middle one? The 11th one, right? Do you get what I'm saying? There would be 1 through 10, then there'd be the 11th one, and then 12 through 21 would be another 10. Does everybody see what I'm talking about? So the 11th one. So if we just, they're already in order, right? Here, number of electoral votes. So where's the 11th one? Well, 4 of them, 8, 9, 10, 11th one. Isn't the 11th one of these? So ooh, do I get to sub? Oh, could you, who is this for? Yeah, I can do this. Is
Okay.
this third hour? Yes,
Yeah.
I can do that from here.
Okay.
I'll go there. Can you let her know so I don't have to stop and email her? Thank you very much. Okay, so it was just 15. We good? Andrew and Maria each collected 6 rocks, and the masses of the rocks are shown above. The mean of the masses of the rocks Maria collected is 0.1 kilograms higher than the mean of the masses of the rocks Andrew collected. What is the value of X? Okay. I think we should find his total, don't you think? Or average, his. Okay, we need his mean. So can you average, what is it? Okay, so the average of Andrews, so we totaled Andrews and then divided by 6 rocks. And that came out to be what? 2.8. But the mean of the rocks Maria collected is 0.1 greater, so that makes Maria's average 2.9, okay? And so 2.9 was sum total divided by 6 for her, right? So how are we going to work backwards? 2.9 times 6. And then subtract off the ones we already have. Will find X for us. So 2.9 times 6, 17.4, and then if we subtract off the ones we already know, I got 2.6. Did anyone else get 2.6? Maybe? Yes? No? Is it on here? .6 or 13/5, okay. Everybody good? This is a calculator question again. The table above lists the lengths to the nearest inch of a random sample of 21 brown bullhead fish. The outlier value of 24 inches is an error. Of the mean, median, and range of the values, which will change the most if we remove that 24? Anybody have a guess? The mean would change a little because you're throwing out an outlier. But what's the definition of range, guys? Max minus min, right? So the original range was 24 minus 8. And it's now 16 minus 8. That changed by what? 8 points? Do you think the average size of the fish is going to change? 8? The range is going to change the most by a lot. If it had been, range hadn't been a choice, then it would have been mean. Generally, the mean is dragged by an outlier. All right, the data in the table above were produced by sleep researchers studying the number of dreams people recall when asked to record their dreams for 1 week. Group X consisted of 100 people who reserved early bedtimes. Group Y consisted of 100 people who observed later bedtimes. A person is chosen at random from those who recalled at least one dream. Okay, at least one dream is all of these people, right? So 39 and 125 would be 164, is that right? People recalled at least one dream. What is the probability that the person belonged to group Y? Would be 11 and 68 out of that. So 79 out of 164. Is that a choice or have I bungled something up? Oh, good. Again, that was a given question, okay? Given the fact that they had one or more. Okay. Is that it? Whew, we did the whole thing? Even though I messed up? Okay. So, some suggestions for tonight or tomorrow or getting ready for the test. if you want to look over some specific ideas tonight, fine, but do not attempt like an entire practice test tonight. You'll just stress yourself out, okay? It's more important that you get a good night's sleep. You go into things tomorrow with food in your stomach, okay? Bananas are supposed to be good. You can bring a snack for the breaks. You can bring a bottle of water for the breaks, or fill your water bottle up or whatever. During the testing, you can have nothing on your desk except your pencil, and if it's a math test, your calculator. You cannot have earbuds, any kind of music. You cannot have a smartwatch on. Okay? Any questions about any of those things? It's going to be a long day, okay? I know some of you are used to music all the time. You can not touch your phone during breaks, and that includes to listen to music or whatever, okay? You can't. If you're caught with your phone in the halls, you could invalidate your test score. You don't want to have to take this again. Yes? There are several 5-minute breaks. I want to say 2 or 3 in the room. There is one 15-minute break where the school will provide you a little like bun with some sandwich meat and a granola bar or something. There's a snack provided at one 15-minute break in there. I think after the 2 reading and English tests, then there's a 15-minute break before the math starts. That's what I'm thinking. I can't remember for sure. But between each long test, there's a 5-minute break where you can get up and stretch in the room. And as long as your backpack was, away from your desk, so you're not going to spill something, you could go get a drink of water in those 5 minutes out of your backpack. Mints are supposed to be good. You can chew gum. You just, you can have a mint in your mouth and no one's going to know. You can't be having 12 pieces of candy sitting on your desk. You can have it in your pocket. Any questions? Anything else? Okay. So something that sticks so you're not starving. Some oatmeal, and a banana, whatever in the morning.